Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm Janet Cathy, a lifelong Arkansan. I'm a practicing medical doctor. I'm board certified in obstetrics and gynecology, and I've been licensed to practice medicine in Arkansas since 1982. I don't represent any organization, but I speak as a physician who's been in private practice, the academic setting, as well as the nonprofit setting. I have cared for the transgender population since I went into practice. I founded the Gender Clinic at UAMS. I've been director of education for Planned Parenthood Great Plains and have done consulting work nationally on transgender care. So I feel like I am qualified to speak as to the standard of care. I cannot begin to address the misinformation and inflammatory statements, I think, that were given by Mr. Stubblefield. Senator Tucker, you're my new superhero. You may not be a doctor, but I think you did your homework. I can only reiterate the questions that Senator Tucker brought up. I think that this bill addresses a very specific medical condition as it applies to minors, and I think it does set a standard of care for the treatment of the condition. I think the bill puts into law the definition of one medical diagnosis, and it determines the way that I would have to treat that condition. It says that medical care is determined not by medical science, but by law. I don't practice medicine the same way I did in 1982. Medicine is not static. It is constantly changes, and it changes based on the currently best available science and research.
Thank you for the time. That's it. The closing remark that I allowed our only for to make was to balance out the first one again. So thank you for your testimony today. Are there any questions from the committee? Senator Hester, you recognize.
Thank you for your commitment to caring for people of the state of Arkansas. Do you believe it is necessary that a minor has a say in this process?
I think that a minor, I don't know what you mean by has a say. Yes, of course.
Okay.
Yes.
They do. So then it would be your belief that a minor can make life-altering decisions for themselves that are a choice, and it's that they shouldn't be able to make as an adult.
I don't think a minor alone makes that decision.
But if they
we require
have a say,
parental consent for any type of procedure on a minor.
Okay, but if a child is opposed and the parents are for it?
I don't see that circumstance.
Okay. But the
You're
problem
saying that
is,
a parent is forcing their child to be transgender.
I'm saying that a parent has undue influence on a child. Absolutely, is what I'm saying. Well, so let's. So you work in this field. What age can a child actually have influence on this decision? Can a 6-year-old or an 8-year-old, 10-year-old?
I think that our children always influence what we do.
Well, but like we both agree that a child should have say. What age can a child have say? Like with like some actual ability to have say. So like a 1-year-old can't have say. So what age can a child have say?
I think it's variable on the child. I think that children as early as 3 or 4 have an awareness of what their gender is.
So a 3-year-old child should be able to have say.
And you know you're taking what I'm saying and changing it.
No. I just would you tell me at what age is appropriate? Because I say it's 18 years old. At 18 years old, someone can have say on what happens with their, with how they choose to live the rest of their life. Not at 17, not at 15, not at 10. Can you tell me what age you think is appropriate that a child should have say?
I think that, having raised 2 children, I think that I was aware of what my children needed from the earliest time that they could communicate with me.
Yeah, so you are aware of what your child needed. I'm asking when your child is aware. Do you have an idea of what we as a society should believe is appropriate for a child to be able to have say? I say it's not a child, it's an adult at 18. Do you have any idea? Are you saying 1? I mean, can we both agree that it's not 1? Can we both agree to that?
No.
Sure, we can?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Because, I mean, how early does a child communicate? A child, you're just arbitrarily setting this 18.
Well, society sets that as an adult, 18 years old. It is, I agree, it's somewhat arbitrary, but we agree 18. You have to agree somewhere, and we agree in society 18 years old.
Okay,
So,
if that's what you think.
Okay, thank you.
Seeing Senator Clark, you're recognized.
Yes, Doctor, you may need to help me with this because it's been a while since I looked at this name, and I'll probably get it wrong. Is it the American Child Psychiatric Association? Seems like I'm probably leaving a word out.
I'm not in the field of psychiatry.
Okay. Well, it's something close to that, the American Child Psychiatric Association. In reading their, I don't know if you call it their Bible, but what I found and explained to me by people who did practice, which they explained just what was written, is that gender dysphoria was very rare and happened mostly among toddler males. Is that incorrect? Well, I mean, you're here as a doctor who treats this subject. I thought.
To me, that's just kind of a statement. I don't know the context of it, and it makes no sense to me.
Okay, well, I did not look it back up and I had all of this a couple of years ago, but it is from the association. It's their literature about their position was that it is. Do you think gender dysphoria is not rare?
I think gender dysphoria is very uncommon.
Okay. And you don't think that it occurs mainly among toddler males?
No, I have no idea.
You think they would?
I've not
you think
heard.
they would
I
be,
do not know that statement.
You think they'd be wrong about that?
That toddler males.
And they also, according to my reading, and that despite treatment, et cetera, that these young males continued to believe that they were girls throughout adolescence, but that 90% upon reaching young adulthood, 18 to 25, decided that they were not, in fact, girls. Are you aware of that? I mean, this is the American Child Psychiatric Association or whatever the exact name is.
I agree that most small children, that little boys that say, I want to be a girl, are little girls that say they want to be a boy. Most of them do not carry that on into adulthood.
But that's not, the American Child Psychiatric Association is not dealing with any little boy and any little girl who says they want to be a boy or a girl. They're dealing with gender dysphoria, where a young male really believes that he is a girl. That's the subject, right? And that those affected with gender dysphoria, upon reaching young adulthood, 90%, according to them, decided that they were in fact not girls. And you're unaware of that.
That may be true. I don't see how that affects this bill. What my concerns are about this bill. My concerns are standard of care. My concerns is that someone can sue me until the day I die.
Okay, well, people have different concerns. So another study from Sweden, the only exhaustive study that I know of on adolescents who were started out on gender blockers, okay, that 100%, when offered surgery, did it. Now, keep in mind, 90%, according to this medical association, decided at adults they weren't actually transgender, but that 100% who started out on the, and these people were not, it was not a study, it's just a study. They weren't against it. That this is what happened, that 100% decided to go on with the surgery. Are you aware of that?
There are a lot of different studies, and again, to pull a fact out of context.
It's not out of context.
Is totally
I am no
unfair.
more, could not be possibly any more out of context than you might have been. But I am pulling from studies, the most exhaustive study, and the fact that you don't know about it. And
No, absolutely, I know about these Swedish studies.
Let's ask
But let me
questions and
tell
answer.
you, when these, you can
Ma'am.
talk about these, excuse me.
Just,
I'd
you
like to-
excuse me.
I'd like to answer the question.
You excuse me just a minute. The chair determines the rules.
I defer
Okay.
to you, sir.
Okay, thank you. What I want is a dialogue back and forth, a question answer. You're fine to ask a question, but don't talk over each other, please. Thank you.
Okay. I'm very familiar with these Swedish studies. My concerns about the bill are that it addresses medical malpractice. And when I am sued for malpractice, they do not look at Swedish studies and standard of care in Sweden or in France or in UK. We look at standards of care in the United States of America.
so if they discovered that something worked in Belgium and it was published and everybody knew it for 10 years and yet it had not become the standard here, you would have no responsibility for it.
Well, I know that there are a lot of drugs used in Europe that are not FDA approved in the United States, and we don't use them.
That wasn't my question.
Then I guess I don't understand your question.
My question was, if we discover something that works, you're aware of it in another country, you're not responsible, because again, the Hippocratic Oath about helping folks, you're not responsible for, if you're aware of it and that it's working, you're not aware of it if it's not in the American.
If it's not standard of care within my community,
How do things become the standard of care? If no one, if,
they look at the body of the evidence and the way medicine is practiced within your area, within your
Even-
specialty, even within geographic areas.
so that would explain why gender dysphoria is, we have a much higher percentage among adolescents in California than we do in Ohio. Which makes absolutely no scientific sense.
I don't think that's what necessarily
Thank you.
is in the bill.
Senator Gilmore, you're recognized for question.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Doctor, I imagine you carry malpractice insurance.
Yes,
Okay. So, and the reason for that insurance is what?
because sometimes unforeseeable events occur.
Great. Thank you. So on page 3 of the bill,